So Angeles, they joke around and they say that like Angeles is the Las Vegas of the Philippines, and it's true. There's a lot of prostitution in Angeles. So in fact, there's like a whole area where we're not allowed to go as missionaries because it's just too, I don't know, not violent, but it's just too grotesque for missionaries, not a good, wholesome environment. So there was that area that we weren't allowed to go for. As far as housing, Angeles will vary differently. So you've got like a lot of the rich, wealthy people. The Filipino dream, unlike the American dream, is to leave the country and make money outside the country because the exchange rate is way high, and then send money home. So then your family can live rich. So a lot of people go work like on cruise ships as somebody like a chef or something, and that way they don't have to get like residency in another country or anything, but they can work for like 6 months at a time, and so they won't see their family for 6 months, and then they'll come home for 2 weeks, and then they'll go for 6 months. So as a result, you get a lot of really rich people in Angeles where they'll have like brick homes with really nice corrugated tin that's like painted nice colors and the form to be very pretty and look almost like Victorian homes here. Very big screen TVs, nice cars, you know, the works. But then you'll go down to like the river where some of the less fortunate people live, and they're basically just squatters. They've just got a little hut made from bamboo and tin, and a little bit of extra tin roofing that they got somewhere. And they live and they raise chickens, and they just kind of make ends meet with whatever they can. I mean, dad will go get a construction job here, or, you know, mom will get a sewing job there, and they'll just kind of make ends meet. As far as missionary homes, the missionaries are always in pretty good homes. They make sure that you're in an apartment usually that's all brick, that's got electricity, that's got, you know, you've got fans all the time, you've got a tin roof. You never have to live like in a hut or anything like that. Like I thought I would, but you don't. You have all of the amenities that an American home would, except maybe air conditioning, but you don't need it because you have fans and it's so humid. And shopping, they have the local market, which everybody just kind of goes and sells stuff. It's pretty good for just about anything you need to get. But if you're not comfortable buying there, like sometimes like the meat they'll have just butchered it this morning and it'll be out there. So some of the Americans are kind of sketchy about doing it. I liked it. It was cheap. It was easy. It was affordable. But they also have, in the bigger cities, they have malls where you can get just about everything you need. Any American product, Chips Ahoy, Oreos, they have all of that stuff. You just have to get to a mall and go. As far as transportation, there's basically 3 methods of public transportation and walking. Walking is by far the most popular with missionaries, just because it saves time, and you can like contact on the way, and you can get really good at it. You can know your area really well through walking. If you're going to a district meeting or something like that, though, a lot of times you'll take a trike or a Jeepney or a bus. So a bus is just like a bus here. They go a lot faster, and they're a little bit taller off the ground because of flooding, so that the waters just kind of go under. But buses are kings of the road. They have the biggest engines. They go the fastest. They're the way to go if you can. The next step down is a Jeepney, which is basically a World War II Jeep that they spread and then put a cover over. They're really fancy looking, and then you get in them and they're just kind of like regular cars. You sit facing inward, so your back is towards the outside and you're facing inward, and then you just pass the money up to the driver and he collects it, and then he'll give you change if you pay too much or whatever. And then the third way is tricycle, which is basically just a motorcycle with a little side cart, and that will have like it's like rated for 6 people, but you'll see like as many as 13 people on one. Or sometimes, like, if you're in a hurry, you can just pay the driver like whatever amount you guys agree on or whatever's fair, and just take you and your companion wherever. So like if you're in a little less dense area, you can do that. No, Angeles is built pretty much around Clark Air Force Base, which sprung up in World War II. It's right along MacArthur Highway, which is named after General MacArthur, who basically took his troops and was in the Philippines and then got beat pretty bad and left, and then he vowed to come back, and he came back and marched his troops up the Philippines basically, and he went up Luzon, and when he went up Luzon, he kind of blazed a path, and then they put a highway there, and now it's called MacArthur Highway. So Angeles is basically on that. You'll use that a lot. That gets from about the top of the mission to the bottom of the mission, and you'll use that a lot. And then there's little offshoots that you can go to the other areas, the other zones. As far as that goes, it's city life is a little bit different than country life. City life is a little harder because people are busy. It's a little bit more of a struggle for the people there, so they're a little less inclined to listen to you than if they're in like the countryside. But it also means that there's a lot more amenities. There's a lot more things that the people have that the country people don't, which sometimes is good because like they live a more blessed life, but sometimes it's hard for the missionary work because they're so busy with doing whatever it is they're doing. So I'm pretty sure it's low down on the list because I know that I think Manila is number 1, and then like Davao is number 2, and then Butuan is like number 3, and then after that it's like Bacolod and Baguio and a couple others, and then Angeles. So it's fairly big, but it's also not like marked among the biggest or anything. Cool. It's mostly known just for being Sin City of the Philippines.